All right, looks like we are live. What's up, everybody? This is Daniel Barrett here from AdWordsNerds.com. How are you? Hope you're having a wonderful day. This video, so recently I did a blog post, and you can find this blog post if you go to AdWordsNerds.com. Let me pull this up here. If you go to AdWordsNerds.com and you go to the blog, you should be able to find a blog post in here called Why SEO is Like Being Buried Alive, a cautionary tale for investors. And basically, I sort of expand on this whole metaphor of why SEO is being buried alive. So today, what we are going to talk about, we're going to talk about how you actually dig yourself out. And really what this is a systematic approach for optimizing your marketing for finding motivated sellers. We're going to get a little tactical, technical in this video. Go check out this blog post. Go to AdWordsNerds.com, click on the blog, look for this blog post to get kind of like the overview of what I'm talking about. But let's get into brass tacks here, because SEO is very complicated. People get very confused by it. And what's more, investors get frustrated by what they view as a lack of progress, right? It's very easy for an investor to work on their SEO for finding motivated sellers for a couple months and not get any leads from it. And they view that as a lack of progress. And the reason they view it as a lack of progress is they have a fundamental misunderstanding of how this process works. So let's take a quick second and let's look at this very simple kind of diagram I've made here, okay? Every marketing process, whether it's a funnel or, whatever, any kind of marketing process you're going to run is going to have a constraint. Now, all systems have constraints. I highly recommend that you look around for theory of constraints. There's a bunch of fascinating stuff on it if you want to get into process improvement. This is something I've been kind of nerding about recently. We've been applying to all our marketing. But in any case, you don't really need to know any of that. All you need to know is that for every system you got, there's a bottleneck. There's one part of that process where everything moves more slowly or less efficiently, and you can't really speed up the system without speeding up that step, right? So if you imagine if you've got, like a conveyor belt, and right at the beginning of the conveyor belt, you got to put the widget on the conveyor. And then in the middle of the conveyor belt, you stamp it. And at the end of the conveyor belt, you put it in a box. And that's your process, right? Put it on the conveyor, stamp it, and put it in a box. Well, let's say you can put 100 widgets an hour on the conveyor belt. And you can stamp 10 widgets an hour. And you can package 100 widgets an hour. Well, guess what? The output of your system is 10 widgets an hour, because the bottleneck, that process right in the middle there that can only do 10, that's the step of the process that determines what comes out at the end. Doesn't matter that you can put 100 on the conveyor belt. If you can only stamp 10, that's your maximum output. And so when we go to improve that manufacturing process, we don't improve the number of things we can put on the widget, and we don't improve the number that we can package because it doesn't matter. Instead, what we do is we improve the constraint. All right, so this is the real basic kind of constraint theory here. Well, marketing for SEO for motivated sellers is the exact same way. We have a process and we have constraints. So let's think about what the process is for getting motivated seller leads from Google, right? First thing, we got to get on the first page. This is the very first thing we need to do. What page is our website showing up on for the keywords that we're targeting? If, somebody told me this recently and I thought it was really funny. They said the best place to hide a dead body is on page 2 of Google, right? So if you're on page 2 of Google, doesn't matter what else you do, you got to get on page 1 of Google, right? Everything else doesn't matter. The constraint is what page you're on, right? Now, once you get on the first page, you need to worry about where you rank, right? It doesn't really matter where you rank if you're not on the first page. Once you're on the first page, it doesn't really matter if you're at the bottom, because you're not really going to get many clicks. You need to get up. You need to get up as close as you can to the number 1 spot. Typically 1 through 3 is where the action happens, right? So we got to worry about where we're ranking on the first page. If we're not ranking, we're not going to get clicks, so nothing we do on our website is going to matter. Right now, in terms of once we get up to the top 3, we got to focus on our click-through rate. This is the percentage of people that click on the website after they see it. So we got to get people to click. If the headline of our website is not appealing or it's not clear what we do and nobody clicks, it doesn't matter if we're number 1 if nobody clicks, right? So, hey, if we're on page 1 and we're ranked number 1, no one's clicking, nothing else we do is going to matter. We got to focus on getting people to click first, right? Once we get people to click, we got to worry about our conversion rate. This is the percentage of people that contact us after they land on the page. If we are on page 1, in spot 1, and tons of people are clicking, but no one contacts us because our form is broken, we don't have a phone number, our website is unappealing, whatever it is, doesn't matter what else you do. Doesn't matter if you have the world's best deal closer acquisitions person waiting on the phones. If no one contacts you, doesn't matter, right? And then finally, we got to close. If you can't close either on the phone or in person, if you're not good at locking up deals, nothing you do, being number 1 in Google and getting all the clicks in the world and all the leads in the world, doesn't help you if you can't close, right? You got to close to get the money out. And so each step in this process is a place where the constraint can appear. Now, what ends up happening is when you work on your SEO, you tend to go down these in order. So first of all, you're not on the first page. Hey, you got to get on the first page. Then you get on the first page and like, all right, hey, we're on the first page, but we got to get in the top 3. And then, hey, we're in the top 3. Now we got to figure out what makes people click. And hey, we got people to click. Now we got to figure out how to get them to convert. And hey, once they're converting, we got to figure out how to close. Now, part of the problem is if you don't have much data, it's hard to improve any step in this process. So for example, if you're not ranked number 1, it's really hard to figure out how to get people to click because most people never see your website, right? If you don't have anybody clicking, it's really hard to improve your conversion rate because you can't split test because no one's hitting the page. And if you don't have anyone contacting you, it's really hard to improve your close percentage because you're not talking to any sellers. So what ends up happening is that we tend to improve each step in sequence, right? First, we worry about getting you ranked on the first page. Bam, we did that. Awesome. Now we're ranked on the first page. Now let's figure out how we get to spaces number 1, 2, and 3. Bam, we did that. Awesome. Cool. Now that we're in spaces number 1, 2, and 3, let's figure out how we can get the maximum percentage of people to click. Okay, boom, we did that. Great, now we have people clicking. Now we're gonna figure out what we need to do in order to get the maximum percentage of people to contact us. And then boom, once we do that, now we got leads coming in. Now we can focus on our close percentage. Now we can follow up on our follow-up. We can kind of work on our follow-up processes, right? So there's a sequence, and in each step, the constraint kind of moves down the line, and we focus on fixing the constraint because we can't focus on the other stuff down the line as long as the constraint is somewhere before those steps, right? It's just like the widgets. I'm not going to focus on packaging up more widgets if I can still only stamp 10 widgets an hour. Now, what ends up happening for most investors is that they don't know about this process. They don't know about the theory of constraints. They don't realize. And what happens is you hire someone for your SEO and they work on it for a month and they're like, great, hey, we got you like 5,000 keywords ranked really high. And they're like, yeah, who cares? I didn't get any deals. So what's happening is the SEO person is focused on, hey, I got you all the way here. I got you all the way to rank, which is amazing, right? I got you all the way here in a short period of time. But the investor is only focused on closing, right? They're focused on closing. I don't care about rank. I just want deals. But what they don't realize is you have to go through the steps in order to get the deals. There's no way to get the deals unless you go through the steps. So this is a really critical problem. When most investors work on their SEO, they get very frustrated because all they know about is this last step, and they miss all the progress they're making in every step before that. So remember, if you are working on your SEO and you're getting frustrated, remember the whole thing with the widgets. You've got to fix the constraint before you can get more widgets out the back end of the conveyor belt, and you've got to fix the constraint in your marketing in order to get leads from SEO. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, and let me know if I can help you in any way. All right, cheers everybody. Bye-bye.